G'day, today I'm going to talk to you about getting some meetings organised, which, in these days of total lockdown, you may be thinking, what does he want to talk about that for? Well, the world is now turning to meeting like this. So I've had 4 Zoom meetings today, and, everybody's turning up for meetings that never used to turn up before because they're in lockdown, so they don't have that many choices anymore. Anyway, I've got a few tips that I want to take you through about getting meeting requests accepted, okay? And particularly if you're trying to schedule a meeting with somebody that you don't know very well. And as I said, you can't actually meet them face to face. So the kind of things I want to talk about is what's the kind of correct protocol for asking somebody for a virtual meeting? And how do you get the meeting without seeming like a real jerk? And what do you do if they turn you down? Well, these questions can cause you a bit of anxiety, particularly if you're a bit of an introvert who's not very good at talking to new people. I, by the way, am not an introvert. You may have already realised that watching a few videos. I can spell the word, but that's about as far as it goes. So look, here's my 5 tips for how I approach getting a meeting with somebody new. First thing is to find a context. It's kind of like getting some kind of relatedness with them, okay? And that's where doing a bit of research becomes really important, because you don't just want to meet with anybody. You want to meet with people who matter to you and your business. And context is like a point of reference. Maybe you met them at an event before the corona crisis hit, or maybe you know somebody who knows them, or you're a big fan, or you've seen them online or something. It's a reason that's valuable enough. Context is a reason that's valuable enough for you to kind of reach out to them. And it can happen in quite a few different ways. You might meet somebody online who's got an interesting point of view, or that you think you can establish rapport with. Now, if I start having a conversation with somebody online that I've just met, I try to get a follow-up conversation pretty quickly afterwards while that first conversation is fresh, even if it's just exchanging messages on LinkedIn. I say, look, I'd love to chat more about ABC. Would you be interested in a coffee and a Zoom call sometime this week? And if possible, pull your phone out right then and say, look, I've got my phone here. Let's put a meeting invite in straight away, because that level of urgency really tells people that you're serious, okay? Another way that it comes through is by finding links through mutual friends or contacts. Now, you need to do even more research there, but by now you know, because I've been mentioning it a few times, that good research is incredibly valuable for setting you apart from your competition. And LinkedIn can be pretty useful for figuring out who knows who, especially if you know somebody that has a connection with the person. Don't be afraid to ask them for the introduction. Look, here's an example, okay? Hi, Jamie. I'm looking to reach out to Chris Smith to pick his brains about mobile UX. His presentation on his blog really resonated with me. I saw it on LinkedIn that you're connected with him. Would you be able to introduce me? Simple. The key is giving them a sense of why you want to talk to the person, and then allow them to filter that information in advance of introducing them to that person. And the more details you can give them, the better. And then that will allow them to have as much information as they need in order to set up a good quality meeting with the person that you're trying to talk to. A third way is to become a fan of their work. When you send a cold request, you need to be really clear about why you want to meet them. Here's an example. Hi Chris, my name's Brett Cooper, and I do mobile development work on iOS for projects for companies here in Atlanta. I saw you speak last year at Web Afternoon, and I really, really enjoyed your presentation. I was wondering if we could meet and have a chat on Zoom so that I can pick your brains about a mobile problem that I'm looking to solve around multi-screen size format. Do you have any availability this Thursday or Friday? Thanks. That's it. And then what you do after that is you schedule a meeting, which we're going to talk about now. Okay. So they respond back to your meeting request. Sure, what time do you want to meet? Now, your objective is to quickly get something set in the calendar. Do not start talking about what you're going to talk about in the meeting. Do not start the meeting then. All you want to do right now is get a time and a date in the diary, okay? Now, the easiest way to do that, ask for 2 or 3 time slots over the next 5 days. If they can't mean any of those, then ask them for some alternatives, but give people options, okay? The next thing is target the morning, because getting something done first thing in the morning is often a lot easier than scheduling meetings for people in the afternoon, okay? And thirdly, if all else fails, just pick up the phone and just say, have a quick 90-second phone call with them to say, look, we're struggling a little bit. We're playing telephone tag, or we're playing meeting tag. Can I just ask you right now, if you have a look at your calendar, I'll have a look at mine, and let's see if we can find a time that suits us both. Sorry about interrupting your afternoon, but this could have taken another hour, and we can fix this in 5 seconds. So when you actually are going to set up the meeting, make sure you have a good meeting app and you have a strong signal. Now that might sound really weird, but I'm dead serious, okay? If you're going to use Zoom or Skype, it's much more likely that they've already got it on their laptop, okay? So they don't have to fossick around looking for some obscure but cheaper software app that you're using. Make it easy for them to connect. The next thing is to use helpful tools. Now look, there are a lot of tools out there to try and solve the scheduling puzzle. Have a look at Calendly or Bookio or Acuity if you're trying to schedule a lot of meetings, because these tools can be really helpful for larger groups, but I would stick with emails and the phone for one-on-one meeting scheduling, okay? And so, don't overcomplicate it. Right, and then when you get to the point that you're going to invite them, you need to make sure that you send out a calendar invite which works, okay? So don't just send them an email that says, oh, let's meet at 3 o'clock, or send them a WhatsApp that says, oh, let's meet after lunch. You need to send a calendar invite where they click and it goes into their calendar, all right? Now, the key things that you should include in a meeting invite are, first of all, the title. The meeting invite needs to have a title, and it should be clear, and it should say, this is why we're meeting. Remember, you're there to solve the customer's pain points. So write the title as though it is about solving the particular pain point, not just meeting with Bob. Okay, what does that tell me? Meeting with Bob to resolve the issue of website blah blah, meeting with Bob to resolve the issue of graphic design, meeting with Bob to resolve the issue of people not paying on time, whatever it is, okay? But put it in the title so people know, that's why I'm meeting him. Put the time and the login details in the email and make sure that the link works. And how do you do that? You test it yourself. Wow, that's pretty high tech, eh? Or you get somebody else to test it as well. And that way you know damn well that it's going to work when you need it to. Then create an objective for the meeting, and once again mentioning the pain points, and put that in the note to them. So it's not just the meeting. The objectives are people go, right, I know this is the subject line, I'm meeting for this reason. Here is the objective of the meeting, we're going to be talking about this particular thing. Here are the 3 or 4 dot points associated with it. And then of course also include your mobile phone number, just in case for some reason they're running late and they need to get hold of you and they can't get onto the meeting app to tell you, all right? Now we've got some pretty good examples of meeting invites, and you can get those by emailing me at steve@steve-ashby.com. So ping me a line and I'm very happy to give you all the typical meeting invites that we've got, and I'm sure you'll find one in there that'll be useful for you. Another thing, and I'm speaking as a dinosaur here, make sure you practice the technology, like screen share and so on. Make sure you know how to make it all work so that you look professional and not like a rank amateur, all right? Nothing gives the prospective client less confidence than you saying, well, it worked a couple of days ago when I tried it on another call, and they go, oh my God, I'm dealing with a complete numpty, all right? Number 4, follow up after the meeting. Have a reason after the meeting to keep the discussion going. And it might be something like this. You send them a thank you email, and it says, thank you very much for meeting. Here's a few notes. Here's a couple of action tips and things that came out of the meeting. I'm going to follow up, and I'll get back to you. And then make sure that you get back to them within the next 2 to 5 days, because you want to stay fresh in their memory, okay? Follow up with any actions that you've had that you agreed within a week of the meeting. You want to show that you were seriously paying attention during the meeting, and you were seriously paying attention to their issues, not just waiting for your next chance to speak, and that you really do want to help them. And look, here's number 5, don't give up too early, okay? These things don't necessarily always happen exactly when they're supposed to. You might need to email 2 or 3 times because people are genuinely busy. And now with everybody's lives being turned on their head and having to figure out how to work from home under total lockdown, a lot of people have their routines completely busted and they're trying to set new routines. And you getting hold of them, wanting a meeting, may not be the number one thing on their agenda. So you might have to be a little bit persistent, okay? You've got to remember that having a bit of a sense of humor with this does not hurt, okay? So you can make a joke about the fact that, this is now the third time that they've been in touch, that you've been in touch with them or whatever it happens to be. And, and people appreciate that because everybody wants to lighten up the situation. You need to remember that time is a very, very valuable commodity, so don't waste somebody else's time. You need to be really well prepared, and in the meeting you need to listen, okay? Spend a lot of time listening. And then be grateful. Look, at the moment, life is full of people who are looking to help each other out when they can, especially in this time of global crisis. I mean, people have rediscovered how good it feels to help each other. It's staggering, but it's not surprising, because in common adversity, often what comes out is a greater sense of humanity, all right? So be part of that. And be thankful for whatever small amounts of help you get, even listening to some old bugger going on and talking about the kind of things that I've just been talking about. Now look, what's the worst that can happen? You might get ignored. Okay, don't stress about it, just keep on moving. There are plenty of people who would love to hear from you and get some free advice over a coffee and a Zoom call from an expert like you. And you just need to keep being confident and remembering that. And look, the ones who ignored you probably aren't the type of people that you wanted to work with anyway, so you're not really missing anything. Okay, I hope you found this useful, and contact me at steve-ashby.com if you'd like any further advice about getting great clients or any of the other aspects of starting up and running a really successful business. I'll catch you later.